Righto guys, as a follow-on from my previous video, which you'll be able to see the link directly above me here, about catching impoundment bass down deep. I want to talk about something else that means a great deal to me, and that's fish care. Whether it's a tournament situation or you just want to keep a couple of fish alive in the well, there really is a few things that you need to know about fish management. I've been fishing tournaments now for around 10 years and I've made quite a few mistakes over those years, but over the next few minutes I want to share with you some tips and little ways about keeping your fish in the well in top-notch order. In the warmer months, fish care starts right now. I've just launched the boat and I'm filling the well. The reason behind this is I want the well full of the coolest water possible. In a morning scenario, that surface layer is going to be at its coldest and I want to fill it before the sun gets on the water. In the afternoon, I'm going to fill it and I'm going to add some ice, whether it's a frozen bottle like this or some bag ice. Once that well is full, I'm going to put it onto recirculation. And the reason for that is I don't want to be drawing in that hot surface water into the well. One of the biggest changes that a fish is going to see when you bring it up out of the deep is that temperature change, and this will be less of a shock to the system on them. Another thing that will assist keeping that temperature down in the well is insulating your live wells. Some boats already come like that and some don't. Some simple play mats or little foam camping mats that you can pick up from just about anywhere, cut on the inside of the lid, will stop that heat transfer through generally a fairly dark carpet down into the well. You can also try and add some vents like I have here, which helps get that hot air out of the well. These also assist with pushing fresh air on the plane down into the well and pushing that hot air out. Now I just caught this guy here and he ate my lure in around 20 feet and you can see he's not looking real healthy at all in the well. He's sitting on his side and upside down and struggling to correct himself. Now what he's suffering from here is barotrauma, and what that is the swim bladder inside him has expanded. Because of the pressure difference from where he was sitting at to up here is so different, that air has now expanded and it's filled up his belly cavity and it's now putting pressure on all his vital organs. As well as him being upside down, he will not last very long at all. Now needling or venting is a necessary evil that we need to do to ensure the fish's survival. Now there's a lot of commercial needles out there specially designed for venting fish. One of the easiest and most economical ones I've found is just a simple needle you'll find from any veterinary clinic that deals with horses or cows as they carry those larger sizes. And they retail for around under 15 cents each, so you can buy a heap of them and just replace them as they become blunt. A little thing that I found while watching the Bassmaster Elites one time was by adding a piece of stainless wire that slips up the inside of your needle. You cut it so it's slightly longer than the needle length. And the idea behind that is when you push it down into the fish, that piece of stainless wire allows you to pull it out and gives you a clean path for the air to come out. Anyone that's tried to needle fish before will know they've ran into problems with like pieces of flesh or slime or a bit of scale getting stuck up the inside of the needle, and sometimes can result in repetitively puncturing the fish and causing more stress to it and damage that you really don't need to. But with this method, it's just nice and cheap, easy, and it's one shot and the air's out. Righto guys, I'm going to work fairly quickly here. Should always have a wet net underneath the fish to protect it. You don't want to be putting down on this hot carpet. It's going to affect the fish's slime. So by using this, it'll keep everything intact and help and assist that fish last even longer. So it's fairly easy to find on a bass exactly where their swim bladder is. You can actually see like a hard lump right there. But another way is following the pectoral fin out and lining it up with the fourth spine back. You've got around a 10-cent size piece to hit, and that's the swim bladder. So we take our needle and we direct it at 45 degrees towards the head of the fish. and I lift up a scale here and I press in. So I'm pressing towards the fish's head at 45 degrees. Got a bit of a scale, so go back into the same spot, push it in, and push it in around 1 inch. So I'm gonna, I can actually see the air starting to escape there now. Now I'm gonna pull out the stainless bit of wire, and you can see the fish's belly starting to deflate right there. So I'm gonna just leave that for a moment. I like to give it a very, very slight little gentle push, a little massage, not too much. You don't want to take too much air out of the fish. From there, I'm simply just going to pull the needle out, and you can see straight away he looks like a different fish. He's lost all that air in his belly, and he should sit upright in the well now. Now you can see that fish now is sitting upright and swimming around, and he's below the surface layer, which is perfect. Another thing you could do, if you've needled a fish and it's still slightly sitting up, you can add some weight to maybe a pectoral fin or something like that, just to correct them. I find that if you over vent them, like squeeze the belly out and too much air, it's just as bad as not venting them. Another thing I like to do is add a live well additive. Now this is Rejuvenate. There's several brands out there that all do similar things. And essentially what it is, it helps assist with any bleeding that may have happened during fish catch, and helps replenish that protective slime that may have come off during handling. I've seen some fish that have been pretty crooked that have come back after using a live well additive, so I highly suggest it. When it comes to upgrading, my personal preference is to weigh each individual fish. That way I know exactly what I have in the well. When I do catch that possible upgrade, I can quickly determine whether he's going to go or not. If he's not, I can quickly release him and he'll swim back down to his comfort zone. No need to vent them. You really don't want to be pulling those fish out of the well and undoing all that hard work you've gone in to keeping them alive. What I've shown you today takes minimal time and effort. By following these simple procedures, your fish should stay in great order. In a tournament situation, when it comes time to weigh in, you really need to minimise the time in the weigh bag and keep them in the well for as long as possible. So keep an eye on those weigh lines, and when they get down, that's when you want to put your fish in the bag. Once they get in that bag, the water is really going to start to heat up and they're going to start to lose oxygen. So by keeping this time fairly short, we maximise the fish's survival rate. And remember, every single one of these fish are hand placed into our lakes as fingerlings. Why wouldn't you want to look after this beautiful sports fish for our future generations? A fish of this size can take years to reach this big, and this is a sight I'll never ever get sick of, letting these guys go. Why wouldn't you want to do that again?